Labor's Deputy Leader Kelvin Davis says he's clearer on the party's policies now than he was when he appeared reasonably confused about details of its position on tax and KiwiBuild. In a TV interview on TV3 today, Mr Davis did not appear to know what Labor's policy was on introducing capital gains tax, an area which has been seen as a weak point for the party and featured during last night's leaders' debate. Mr Davis was also a bit hazy on the numbers around the ramping up of Labor's KiwiBuild plan, which aims to have 100,000 affordable homes erected in 10 years. So does Labor's deputy actually know his party's policies in depth? Our producer, Bridget Burke, gave Kelvin Davis a call this afternoon. He's waiting to board a flight to Sydney. And Bridget began by asking him to clarify Labor's policy on tax.
So the tax working group will look at its stuff, and I've clarified that Jacinda reserves the right to act on their recommendations before the next election.
Okay, so in your view, what should a proper capital gains tax look like?
Well, look, that's up to the tax working group, and I'm not going to make policy up on the hoof.
In theory, would it exist for sale of farms or businesses, or?
Well, like I say, I'm not going to make up policy on the hoof. That'll be, the tax working group. The experts will come out with their recommendations, and we'll have to look at things from there.
What did Jacinda say to you after your interview this morning?
Are you there?
Yes. What did Jacinda say to you after the interview this morning?
Well, she gave me a call, and we just, as we do most days, have a discussion. But there was not much in it. It was just a regular discussion.
Has she corrected your position on anything?
No, we didn't talk about that. I don't think she'd seen the interview, but I had gone back and had a look over some of the press releases and statements that have been made recently, just to make sure I had it clarified in the position.
Are you clear now on Labor's position, more clear so than what you were this morning when you were interviewed?
Yeah, as I say, Jacinda reserves the right to act on the tax working group's decisions.
Just clearing up some confusion about Labor's flagship KiwiBuild policy and how many houses would be built.
So it will be 100,000 houses built over 10 years on average. Obviously, it'll take some time initially to ramp things up, but 50,000 of those houses will be built in Auckland and 50,000 out in the regions and in other cities.
In the North Island or the South Island as well?
Look, in other areas, around both North and South Island.
You were saying before that you actually looked at a few press releases after the interview this morning.
Yeah, well, the one issue that I was unclear on is whether we would act before the next election or whether we'd take our position to the polls in 2020, and I've cleared that up and clarified it. Did
Jacinda clear that up for you?
No, we didn't talk about that this morning. I went through some press releases and comments that have been made, so I saw it for myself.
Did you talk to Jacinda about her performance last night in the debate?
No, we didn't have time to do that. I was moving into another meeting and she was moving into another meeting.
What do you think about her performance last night in the debate?
Well, as I said on the show this morning, I was filling in for her at the Auckland Rugby League Awards and didn't get to see it and haven't had an opportunity to see it. But just going from what I've read in the media, she more than held her own.
Do you think that wonderful Colmar-Brunton result last night is a reflection of her leadership or your combined leadership?
Oh, look, Jacinda's a star, and she's just doing such a fantastic job, and, we're all in behind her and totally support her.
But you would take some credit for that as well?
Oh, look, that sounds a bit show-offy to me. We are a team, but Jacinda is definitely the leader, and Jacinda is definitely leading the way.
Kelvin Davis talking to Bridget Burke.